Sorry, I'm really tired and my brain is not functioning, so this should be a ride for everybody involved.
Alright, well that's stupid, and I'm just gonna sit here because I'm knitting a sock, and
That's
everyone
fine.
can fuck off.
It's fine. Knitting is quiet.
Did I show you guys my other sock?
No, you didn't.
Oh, I'm gonna send you a picture. I did a whole sock, guys. I'm very proud of
Yay!
it.
Socks are hard.
It looks moderately okay.
It looks vaguely sock-shaped. Shock-shaped.
No, it's very sock-shaped. It's just, like, the foot part is really long.
Oh my goodness.
I send you a picture now.
Ugh. I'm so tired. This
You
movie.
can't-
Also, I want that card that I sent you guys to
What,
send
Hannah?
to people. That card that I sent.
Oh, yeah.
The card, the cat card that meows until the battery dies.
Yeah.
And then it's glitter if you open it. Ooh, this just opened on my face and that was disgusting. Okay, here's my sock. It looks really cute.
Oh, it is cute. That is too long in the foot, though.
I know. They were like, knit for 6 inches and then do the toe. And I was like, that seems excessive, but okay.
6 inches? Who has a foot? I shouldn't say that, but...
No, I mean, my foot is like 8 inches because that's like how you do sizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it just like... It looks weird because the top is really stretchy, so it makes the foot part look really fat.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird pattern, but
As long
also
as
I
it
just knocked over a
fits.
candle. Because I threw my sock. Oh, I listened to the episode, and that name I was trying to think of, that is our family name, is Aloysius.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
It's just such a good name.
It really
a good
is.
name.
That is a
My
good
dad
name.
is named after Edward Aloysius. But his middle name is not Aloysius. His middle name is Francis. What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
There's another one. I said vague pronoun, or no, I said vague noun. I meant vague preposition.
Okay.
So I would just like to amend that fact, thinking about the woman who flew into her house.
Yeah. Maisie!
Thank you.
Maisie, stop screaming!
It was like killing the English teacher in me. I was like, what? Are you drunk?
Especially
That's
since you,
okay.
like, called out your class for it, too.
I know, I was like,
Yeah.
listen here, you little shitheads.
And then you were wrong.
And then I was wrong. I taught class the other day. My top half was like in a beautiful sweater, makeup done, hair done. Bottom half, pizza pajama pants.
Nice.
Love that.
And it was fine until I had a student stay after because she wanted to interview me for a different class.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like stood up to get a book and I was like, I sat down really fast and was like, listen, I'm in my pajamas.
No judgment here.
Don't you judge me.
Please, you know that's what all of them are doing, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. They're like in their beds. So
Yeah.
I can see them because I make them turn their cameras on. Because I'm mean like that.
I have 2 stories about my mother, if we want to go through those before we actually
Yes.
start.
Wait, do we want to do the intro real quick?
Yeah, we can do the intro, otherwise we're gonna forget. Oh, it's my turn. God damn, I'm so fucking tired. Okay. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm exhausted. You're listening to The Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive. I am Shannon.
I'm Shelby.
I'm Hannah.
Yay, we got it right. Okay.
I have it open.
Thank you. I appreciate that you're using that.
Yeah.
I
for you.
haven't had to use it yet.
Hannah's the only one who has, so.
Listen, I am special.
I like how we said I was always the one who messed it up.
No, it was literally just the first time, and then every other time.
Yeah,
it was
every
me.
other time it was Hannah.
We're like, God, Shelby's so stupid, and yet here I am.
Yeah, it's fine. We fixed it.
It's okay.
I had to put
Whatever
in,
works.
I had to put a note in my phone with keywords from what my mom said because I couldn't remember them exactly. So the first one, these both happened in the same phone conversation because it's my mom and we have to burn through 5 topics even though I talk to her literally every single day. So the first one was, so I was talking with my mom and we were talking about the holidays and how I'm not coming home for Thanksgiving because duh. And she was like, So, and then, and she was like, I remembered what I wanted to ask you. And, every time she says that, it's going to be something crazy.
Yes.
And she goes, so, Zoom. And I was like, oh, God, what about Zoom? And just the way she said, like, Zoom. And I was like, what about it? And she goes, can me and you and Allie Zoom sometime soon? And I was like, okay. And I was like, I mean, we can, but...
Why don't you just use Facebook?
That was... We're getting there. I'm gonna get there. First off, I was like, well, I mean, we can, but it's like a separate app, and like, if we talk longer than 45 minutes, you have to pay for it. And she just goes, we're not gonna talk longer than 45 minutes. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Never mind then. But then I was like, why don't we just FaceTime? Because we could FaceTime with more than 2 people. And she was like, oh, I didn't know we could do that, which is fair, because that's like a fairly recent change to FaceTime. And I was like, yeah, Mom, we're just going to FaceTime. Plus, Allie's coming home for Thanksgiving, so, like, you two can just, like, share a phone. It's fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah, apparently my mother just discovered Zoom. So, that's fine.
To be fair, she hasn't had a reason to know
No,
about
she
it.
hasn't. I just thought it was just the way she said it. It was as if she was unsure that was what it was called or how it was pronounced.
I love
your
mother.
my mom. I know, she's great. And then the other one.
I told you...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I told you guys that I run the Farley Zoom meeting, right, with all the aunts and uncles and cousins.
Uh-huh.
Where my grandma is literally the trope of the grandma who only shows the top of her forehead, and she's like, I can't see anybody! And we're like, scroll through it, you're on your Kindle, Patricia. Anyway.
That's another reason why I don't want to do it. I don't want to teach my mom how to download and use Zoom.
Every single time a separate cousin has to hang up the Zoom call her on her phone, and walk her through the steps of running Zoom. Every single time. And we're like, we've done it 18 times.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I don't want to do it.
Not judging, just...
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but my dad knows how to use it, so, like,
Yeah.
he can figure it out.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, and so then the other one... And then this was in the same conversation. She was like, I remember what else I wanted to ask you. And I was like, what have you been doing at work? I mean, never her job, because no. That's not true.
Looking at moose pictures
Yeah.
and
That light up
lake houses.
Yeah.
at
She
lake
goes-
houses.
And then she goes, I want to do something, good for the holidays this year. And I was like, as opposed to what? Like, what are you normally doing?
Well, last year I set an orphanage on fire, but...
She wants to, so like there are these programs, and like she used to do one at her work where you can adopt like needy families for Christmas or whatever, and you get a list and you buy them stuff for Christmas and whatever.
Yeah, like an angel
wants
tree
to-
thing.
Yeah, she wants to do that for a military family for Christmas, and so she's gonna send us like their list, and we're gonna help her like pick stuff out. But just the way she said it, I was like, Mom, you're doing this as opposed to what? Like, are you normally a bad person? Like, I don't understand.
Well, before the orphanage, I did a forest fire,
Yeah.
and it just didn't feel good for the holidays, you know?
Yeah, it was
I
just,
don't know why your mom is from Wisconsin.
yeah,
certainly,
Mom's not from
I was gonna say
Wisconsin.
that was a perfect like Wisconsin Minnesota accent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
I'm
is
so
not
sorry.
the accent my mother has. She says
I know,
"warsh."
that's just my warsh. I know, that's just my mom accent. Every
Yeah.
mom is from Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was just my mom. She's a hoot. Okay, do we have any actual announcements? I don't.
Well, if you pay us money, I might read a semi-erotic letter that I found in my attic from the 70s, sent from a Radio Shack. That's all you're getting. I can't believe I didn't read it to you while you were here. I read it to everyone who comes up and listen to this shit.
Oh, I thought this was like a recent find.
No, we found this when we moved in. It's been on my dresser forever. Peppa ate part of the address off, so I can't find the Radio Shack from. It's in Cape Cod.
It's probably not even open anymore. Radio Shack isn't doing
A
too
Radio
hot.
Shack? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They died in the
Yeah.
early 2000s.
Yeah.
I like how she's like, it's probably not open shit.
I forgot that
Shit,
they like
please.
completely folded under. I'm tired, okay?
Where else are you going to get your RC cars and your, I don't know, battery packs for your
Or
brick
sea
phone?
cars.
Oh
Okay, my sleep schedule's been really... Well, my sleep schedule is fine. My sleep cycle's really fucked up, and I can't tell if I'm the crabby kind of tired or the loopy kind of tired, so this should be really interesting.
It's a fun little mix of both.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think it's both.
Last night, okay, so I got home at like 4, and Morgan had been like cleaning the house all day because we're starting the renovation on our living room.
Ooh, yay.
But we decided that we have to like clean the kitchen first because it's a garbage dump. So anyway, she spent all day organizing it and it looks great. And Morgan, shout out to Morgan, you're beautiful and blessed, and thank you so much for doing that. But anyway, I got home at like 4 o'clock from work, and we both went and sat on the couch. And then woke up at 6 because it's pitch black here at 4:30.
It is.
So we shut our eyes. We had like a ghost show going in the background, and we woke up at 6 and we were like, "What just happened?" Also, we have put up our Christmas lights. Okay, our house is really, really tall, so it's really scary to be on the ladder all the way up there. Mm-hmm. Shannon, you've seen it.
Uh-huh.
My house is basically 3 stories tall because our attic is huge. Anyway, so we got it halfway up the middle of the house, like in the eaves, and it turns out that the fucking lights I bought that went up the side of the house do not work.
Great.
And we only decided to plug them in after we hung them all up. So
Lovely.
I know. So so right now there's like a ladder up to Morgan's bedroom window, and then lights that are just hanging off the side, like willy-nilly, and that's kind of how it's been for the past 3 days.
Yeah.
So, we're kind of hoping the neighbor across the street will come and rescue us, because they're very nice people who have, like, I don't know, teenage boys who are brave and strong and whatever. But, I don't know, doubtful. Anyway,
Yeah.
That's all. That's my life update.
Okay. We should probably actually move on to the topic because it's been like 20 minutes and we still haven't actually started.
Yeah, I mean, you can cut like 30%.
This isn't a Shelby episode, so we actually are gonna like have a topic.
Yeah, and it's a long one. So, this was the one I was going to do when I ended up doing Mothman, and then it was Halloween-y. You know, it was October, so obviously I couldn't do...
Shannon said weenie.
Okay. And so... So yeah, in October I did a kind of spooky thing, and then last time it was like the day after the election, and it's me, so obviously I had to pick that. And even though this episode comes out the day before Thanksgiving, I thought about doing like a Thanksgiving thing, but like I didn't want to. So we're doing this one instead. So, what topic do you guys think I could do for 10 pages that is like my own personal interest? What do you think?
Tesla.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're talking about Tesla.
I like how I didn't even have to think about that.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't. That's why I asked that question.
I was just like, what is Shannon about Tesla?
Yeah. So, yeah, I have...
Is there a PowerPoint?
There is a PowerPoint. I have a PowerPoint and an outline. It's a much shorter PowerPoint this time than last time.
Does that mean it's like 30? Oh, no.
No, it's literally like 6 slides. Well,
for
part
those
of it...
of you listening who don't know, Shannon has written multiple papers on Tesla.
Yeah, that's what my notes are. It's just chunks of my papers that I put into one thing.
It's a topic that we are very passionate about in this household.
Yes.
Near and dear to Shannon's heart.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're going to talk about basically the life of Nikola Tesla.
Oh, I guess we should differentiate. We're talking about Nikola Tesla and not the car Tesla.
I am going to bring that up at the very end, but it's mostly just within the context of a rant of how much I hate Elon Musk. So, like...
that's fair,
please.
because we hate
I do bring it up, but it's not the main focus.
the cars are nice, but...
Yeah. Elon Musk.
The person is a garbage bag.
Exactly. He's a garbage human.
A garbage bag is a little too nice. Those things are useful, and he is not.
He is a dumpster fire of a person. Let's go with that one. So
he named his child like Xenon Angel.
I know.
Pi.
God.
I don't know.
I know.
Agamemnon. I don't really.
Okay, we'll get to the Elon Musk rant later. Okay, so
it really sounded like you said the Elon Musk rat.
I know.
I mean, it could be.
I'm fine with that. So my sources for this one are like not my normal sources because it's literally the sources I used for 3 academic papers. So I'm not going to read off every single one because I have like 15 because I just copied over my bibliography. Well, because I don't know like what came from what thing, but I have a bunch of different books. I have a couple Library of Congress articles. I have a bunch of like scholarly articles. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I quote the oatmeal at some point as well.
Love that. If you hear weird sounds, tell me to stop. I'm going to be recutting my bangs while we do this.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
I'm knitting a sock. Shannon's ranting about Elon Musk. Shelby's cutting her own hair.
It's fine. We're all fine.
We are living it up.
Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, my notes are like 10 pages long again, so I'm sorry. But it won't be nearly as frustrating as Watergate. So, okay. So if we could go to the second slide, which is just the picture of Nikola Tesla.
Look at that handsome boy.
I know. So, I'm doing this, as always, with me basically like a timeline format, because I don't know how to do anything else. So,
I can send you my PowerPoint about outlines.
I know how to
send you that.
I know how to outline.
I'm just saying there's different forms of outlines.
No,
so
I know. No, like for the topics I pick, for whatever reason, they tend to work better chronologically. So that's...
Listen, I'm only saying that because I literally taught it 2 days ago.
Okay. Anyway. Okay,
I taught it on Monday.
So, Nikola Tesla. He was born on July 10th, 1856 in the village of Smiljan, I believe, in what is now Croatia. He is of Serbian descent. As a child, he was intelligent and curious and was encouraged by his mother, who was an inventor in her own right. Tesla stated that, quote, she invented and constructed all kinds of tools and devices. Most of the wearing apparel and furnishings of the home was the product of her hands. Excuse me. So, like, even with this encouragement, he often felt overshadowed by his older brother, Dane. What'd you just do? Oh, thank you, Hannah.
Sorry. I didn't expect you to look at that right now. Sorry.
No, if I see a notification, I have to check it immediately.
Oh my god, you're so psychotic. Okay,
I know.
Yes, it was me sending a picture of a sticky note that had my student schedule on it, and Monday says outlining.
Yes. Yeah, so, yeah, he felt overshadowed by his older brother. Tesla described Dane as gifted to an extraordinary degree, which, like, considering who it's coming from, I think is a lot. You know what I mean? Like, how gifted did his brother have to be for Nikola Tesla to feel inferior? But then his brother died, like, pretty young. I don't know what year, but Tesla still felt like he had to work hard for his parents' attention. And it was on, like, this quest for perfection that Tesla blamed the development of his, quote, many strange dislikes and habits, end quote, which today would probably be recognized as obsessions or compulsions.
Yeah.
That's that gifted child syndrome.
Yeah.
But also, probably had a lot of compulsions.
He probably had OCD.
I mean, think of Howard Hughes. He was, like, super smart, and he was cuckoo.
He was... Yeah.
He peed in jars, and...
He was just batshit. Yeah.
I know, but it was OCD is what he had.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a quote from Tesla's book, My Inventions. Okay. Sorry, I'm really tired and my brain is not functioning, so this should be a ride for everybody involved.
Oh, yeah.
Woohoo!
Okay, so this is a quote from his book. The sight of a pearl would almost give me a fit, but I was fascinated with the glitter of crystals or objects with sharp edges and plain surfaces. I would not touch the hair of other people, except perhaps at the point of a revolver. I would get a fever by looking at a peach, and if a piece of camphor was anywhere in the house, it caused me the keenest discomfort. All repeated.
Piece of what?
Camphor. Camphor.
What's that?
It's, crap. I can't remember. Hang on.
It's one of those things that I would read about in books. But
it's like an oil that's used in creams, good God, ointments and lotions. Ointments and lotions. I took off the
You know that ointment lotion or ocean shot.
Yeah, it's just a It's a chemical that I think... I'm tired, okay?
No, I tried to say shit, and I said, shot! Oh.
It's like...
I'm laughing at myself entirely right now.
This
is just... Okay, everyone take a sip of coffee and then let's continue.
It's like a lotion.
Coffee's nasty.
It was more commonly used back in the day than it is now. So...
Okay.
Yeah. There's more to this quote.
Okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I fucked it up. You're fine.
No, it was a mutual effort there.
Okay, so all repeated acts or operations I performed had to be divisible by 3, and if I missed, I felt impelled to do it all over again, even if it took hours, end quote. Which is a classic sign of OCD, is having to do
OCD.
things in 3s or in 5s or whatever.
Or in any sort of number.
Yeah. He also had visual hallucinations as a child, which continued into adulthood. Same. They were usually flashes of lights and colors, and they could stay with him for up to 3 weeks.
Mine were not fun and pretty like that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Shelby's are wolves.
What? Yours are wolves.
Shelby's are wolves.
Mine are wolves or shadow figures.
Yeah.
And they stalk me. It's a good time.
Good times in the Shelby brain.
We love it.
Yeah. He does credit his attempt to control these hallucinations as, like, the cause of his ability to hold the plans for his inventions in his head. So, like,
I've never tried controlling mine. That's a good idea.
He very rarely wrote down schematics for his inventions because he could just, like, keep it all in his head.
God, I wish that were a thing.
I know, right?
Right.
Like, I'll get into it later. It's really annoying as a historian that he didn't write anything down.
Oh, I bet.
Because we don't have
really
any of his schematics.
As a human person.
It's fine. So, upon the death of his brother Dane, Tesla's father decided that Tesla was going to enter the priesthood, which, like, Tesla's father was a priest, so this isn't, like, completely out of left field. So
I like how it's like, my mother was a genius, my brother was a genius, I am a genius, my dad was a priest.
He may have also been a genius, I don't know, but he didn't, like, capitalize on it, you know? He didn't.
Right.
Yeah. So to prepare him, his father sent Tesla to the higher wheel, do you pronounce this still gymnasium in, yeah, if it means school, you know what I mean? Because back in the day, gymnasium used to be, like, school. I'm assuming we still pronounce it gymnasium. I don't know, though.
Sure.
Anyway.
Go for it.
Yeah, he was sent to a school in Karlovac, Croatia, and that town's also known by his German translation of Karlstadt. I don't know. Just in case somebody is, like, curious, it's also called Karlstadt. So, Tesla contracted malaria there, but he survived.
Yay.
Woo!
And it was here that he
them
became...
skeeters.
What?
I said them skaters.
Yeah, and so it was here that he became more attracted to physics and math. Because of that, he began wrestling with the idea of becoming a scientist instead of a priest. During this time, when he was having, like, a personal identity crisis, he returned to his hometown, discovered that it was in the middle of a cholera epidemic, and immediately contracted it. Because he is all of us, apparently.
He has a weak immune system.
Yes, he does.
Welcome home.
Here's cholera.
Die of a pooping disease.
He did kind of use this to his advantage and basically told his father that he would try his hardest to fight off the illness if he was allowed to study engineering. Because he's apparently...
Dad, I won't die if you let me be a scientist.
Yeah, because he's apparently also a manipulative little bastard. His father... Go ahead.
Yeah, you do you, Tesla.
Yeah. His father gave him that promise.
I'm gonna die.
Like, his father said, like, yes, if you live, you can be a scientist. But then after Tesla recovered, he had to be hidden in the mountains in order to avoid a military draft. So...
we love the olden days.
Yeah. Following his draft dodge, which I should add, like, this was super illegal, obviously, for him to do this. He enrolled in the Joanneum Polytechnic School in Austria. And it was here... Hannah, stop sending thanks.
I'm just saying. This is literally, that was from, like, maybe through 4 days. That was 4 days of me just thinking.
Yeah.
And I had to write down, I'm not even kidding, there's probably, like, 17 sticky notes there.
Yeah.
I'm just really pissed off right now.
So it was at this school that Tesla was introduced to the idea of alternating current, which we'll get into later when we start talking about Edison. I'm bringing it up now because that was like the high point of his career.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Will you be singing the Topsy song?
No, but I will be talking about Topsy.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we insert the Topsy song?
No, because it's copyrighted.
Dang it.
Can we sing it in a minor key and call it a parody?
Probably. If you want to write that right now, go ahead and do it.
Okay, let me scramble down to my piano real quick.
Yeah.
BRB.
Okay, so even though he was like really successful his first year, his second year was not so great. He devoted his time to socializing and gambling and didn't register for any of his classes for what would have been his third year. And then his dad died.
Same.
Yeah, so it was just not good. So he had essentially dropped out of class by the time his father died. And so wanting to honor his father's wishes, he enrolled us in a school in Prague because he's just moving all over Europe at this point. But at one point,
As you do.
Yeah, he ran out of money and suffered a severe mental breakdown, which nearly killed him. And I understand.
Okay. Been there, done that. That's why I live at home.
Listen, if you don't have a major mental breakdown in college, then you're not getting the full
You're not
college
doing
experience.
college right, exactly.
I mean,
And so-
let's go with a minor mental breakdown.
Yeah. His
So we had a major one. Do not recommend.
Yeah. Yeah. During this time, apparently his cure to mental breakdowns is, again, wandering all over Europe. He ended up in Budapest, and it was there that he came up with a blueprint for his alternating current motor, although it needed testing. And then soon after creating that, he used it to get hired by the French branch of Thomas Edison's company. So if we can go to the next slide. There's going to be less info here because I hate Thomas Edison with a burning passion, but I'll try to give as robust a biography as I possibly can. Plus, I am not in any kind of journal. I don't need to be fair. I don't need to both sides this. I can do what I want, and I hate Thomas Edison.
This is my podcast, damn it.
Exactly. Okay, so he was born February 11th, 1847 in Milan, Ohio, but mostly grew up in Port Huron, Michigan. He was basically homeschooled by his mother, who used to be a school teacher. He was also really interested in technology and spent hours working on experiments in his home. He was completely deaf in one ear, which was thought to be caused by scarlet fever, and he may have had ADHD. And at the age of 28...
That's why I'm immune to strep throat.
There you go.
My mom had scarlet fever.
Yeah. I've just never gotten it, even though my sister has it like every year.
What?
So I've never had strep.
I had strep and pneumonia once as a child, like simultaneously.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Allie gets strep like 5 times a year. Not as much anymore since they took out her tonsils.
But the fact that
she
she's still getting it after she got her tonsils taken out, there's like a 10% chance of that happening once, and she's had it at least twice since she got her tonsils out. I've never had it.
But yeah, my mom had
I
scarlet fever as a kid, so me and my sister are immune
I don't think
to
my
strep.
parents had scarlet fever. It never got brought up.
You just might...
You might have just, like,
Better.
inherited the...
Yeah, this is just the one thing that I'm never going to get sick with is strep.
Right.
I came down the stairs as a child when I had both of those, and my mom said I was so white that, like, it was scary, but my lips were, like, bright red because I was so dehydrated, and I was like, I don't feel so good. And they were like, oh god, get in the car.
I don't feel so good.
And I went to the hospital.
Am I
And
dying?
I was very sick.
Yeah, that's just the one thing I've never had. Okay.
Right, same.
Yeah,
I'll
so
come
then
down with literally everything else, but strep I'm good.
Sucks.
I know, so I'm glad I never had it.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Hannah.
Yeah.
Morgan's getting her tonsils out literally in 2 days.
Yeah.
Fun.
On Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Today's Sunday. Yeah.
It's Tuesday. 2 days. Monday, Tuesday.
My sister got her tonsils out, but that's because she has a swallowing disorder.
Does she have aphasia?
No, aphasia's not a swallowing disorder.
Wait, what's the one? Listen, I failed hearing science, so I don't really know.
Clearly.
What does swallowing disorder have to do with hearing science?
Because you do, like, ear, nose, throat stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're all connected, because it's like, it all falls under the jurisdiction of a speech pathologist, essentially, or an ear, nose, throat doctor.
Gotcha.
Which Honestly, if I didn't have to take that class and pass that class, then maybe I would be a deaf ed teacher. But, like, that class was such bullshit because it was like, all right, now we're going to talk about waves and the mathematical theory behind waves, like sound waves. And I was like,
that's dumb. You're not supposed to have that until you're in, like, a voice class.
No, that was the intro class. That's not even a
deaf education class. That doesn't matter.
I know, and I was like, listen, I'm just here so I can take
I feel bad for you
ASL 4, so can we get on with it?
Now I'm upset for you, because that's not even, like, that's a voice analysis class, not...
No, it was such bullshit, I hated it.
Well, I guess it's a hearing science class, but, like, not until you're more advanced in it.
Yeah, I know. And our professor was like, yeah, about 30% of you are going to fail this class. And I was like, cool, thanks for the confidence, dickbag. Why don't you just, like, teach us like a normal, like, yeah, okay, I literally wrote my, I know I've said literally 100 times, but I seriously did write my teaching philosophy yesterday for my practicum class that I'm in. And I said, and I truly believe this, that you are the advocate of your students. You're not there to just distribute grades. It's not like a banking system of wealth where you hold all the information and then you divvy it out when you see necessary. You're supposed to advocate for your students and help them understand everything they have a question about and everything they don't understand. But
and I've never understood the thing where they're like, 30% of you are going to fail this class. And it's like, why are you proud of that? That means that you're a bad teacher.
Exactly!
That's all
you're not
school
trying.
Is. Law school's on a curve. Like, all law schools are on a curve. They're designed to make people fail things. It's really annoying. And, like, in some ways I understand it for, like, something at that level because you only want the best of the best. Okay, but even then you have to take the bar. Like, and it's not like you have to, like,
so
it doesn't matter what your GPA is. As long as you graduate law school, you can take the bar.
That's
But,
fair,
like, I was going for a teaching degree, and I was taking this class that was going to prevent me from having that teaching degree because it wasn't designed for me. Yeah. And because it wasn't, the teacher wasn't there to advocate for my education.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, they should have a like hearing science class geared towards deaf educators because it is a completely different field than hearing science. You're not going to be an audiologist. You're not going to be a speech pathologist. Like, they are different fields and they require different expertise. And yes, you need some baseline hearing science knowledge, but to be a deaf educator, you do not need to know about waveforms and all of that.
I know. Here's what we should have learned about.
You need to know about, like, AAC and that kind of stuff, but that's completely different.
Like, acoustics in classrooms. Acoustics in classrooms.
Yes, that's very important.
Basic physiology, and that's it. That's all we needed to know.
Yeah.
And yet we're here, like, doing math proofs for waves, and anyway, it was so stupid.
I'm mad for you.
That's why I'm a creative writer. Who can, like, kind of do sign language. Anyway, not bitter. You're bitter. Let's move on.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a really long thing, about nothing related to this.
I just think that teachers should be better at their jobs. The end.
Yep. I like how we went from, I don't even know how we got here.
We were talking about Scarlet Fever. Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm just very passionate about my job, and, like, if you're paid to teach, that's what you should do. You shouldn't be paid to fail. The end. Thank you. Goodbye.
You need to tell a lot of law professors about that because a lot of law professors, they're like, well, I had to go through this bullshit, so now all my students also have to.
I hate that so much.
It's ridiculous.
Now you're in the place of power where you can change it, you idiot.
Yeah, plus, like,
if you were so upset by it,
change it! Putting us through that doesn't change anything that happened to you. You're just being sadistic at that point.
Exactly.
Like,
I'm sorry, but that mentality only works for, like, okay, I had to smell this disgusting thing, so now you have to smell it. Not like
fun things like that. Like,
I failed law school, so now you're gonna fail law school.
Yeah, like, there's a reason I haven't been going to BizOrgs all semester. Like, it's not because I just didn't. Well, part of it's because I didn't feel like it, but a big part of it is that my professor was terrible.
I think a big part of it is because you didn't want to.
Well, a good part of it, but, like, that's why I didn't want to. Is because my professor is terrible. You know, like I stopped going to that class way before I stopped going to my other ones, and the other ones I've been going to.
Is he the one who like doesn't actually talk about anything relevant?
Yeah, he's the one who spent a week talking about how to start a restaurant, which has nothing to do with the law of business organizations. Right, that's why I stopped going. It's a waste of my time. Anyway, let's keep talking about Edison. Yes. Edison. So.
All right. Anyway, if there are any administrators listening, please hire me. I'm a good teacher. Thank you. Goodbye.
She
don't have a job. I do care.
Hi, Yuki.
Okay, so at the age of 28, he enrolled in a 4-year. I put course.
Oh, don't walk across my keyboard. Sorry.
Hour 4 of the podcast.
Okay, so at the age of 28, he enrolled in a 4-year chemistry course at the Cooper Union for the advancement of science and art. And that is, like, all of his, like, educational credentials. So from early on, he found ways to make money. From the age of 13, he was selling candy, newspapers, and vegetables on the trains running from Port Huron to Detroit. He became a telegraph operator at some point. He also obtained the exclusive right to sell newspapers on the road, which began a long career of entrepreneurial pursuits, which included his founding of General Electric. His first patent was for the electric vote recorder, which was granted on June 1st, 1869. And he eventually built a laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey. He was legally attributed with most of the inventions that came out of there, but he didn't actually create the vast majority of them. They were actually created by his employees, but because he was the owner of the laboratory, he got credit for them. Which sometimes can still be a thing because of the way the laws work, but still. So he was accredited with creating or improving the telephone, the phonograph, the iron ore separator, the electric railway, and electric lighting, and he has a total of 1,093 patents registered to him. Which, again, he did not create the vast majority of these. Just throwing that out there now, which is a huge part of the reason why I hate him. So, with electric lighting, we were talking about this because this was, like, the crux of his and Tesla's feud. So, first off, he wanted to create a longer lasting light bulb. He did not invent the light bulb. He didn't do it. I don't know who did because I forgot to look it up, but it wasn't Thomas Edison. So
I will look for you now.
Okay. As the creator of The Oatmeal says, which, by the way, The Oatmeal is a fantastic webcomic that I highly recommend people read. The guy who writes it is hysterical. So, this is a quote from The Oatmeal. Edison did not invent the light bulb. He improved upon the ideas of 22 other men who pioneered the light bulb before him. Edison figured out how to sell the light bulb. Yep. Edison was a businessman before he was an inventor. Yep. So.
Okay, so there are lots of inventors.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think...
Thomas Edison improved it. Joseph Swan, Hiram Maxim, Matthew Evans, Alexander Login, Alessandro Cruto, and James Bowman Lindsay.
There you go. So, regardless of that, he didn't invent the light bulb. So, there were issues with early incandescent bulbs that caused him to burn out, like, super duper quickly. And incandescent bulbs are the ones with, like, the filament in it, you know, that we don't really use anymore because we're moving towards, like, LED bulbs. Yes.
Yeah, like back in the day when your sister set her pants on fire because she put them on top of a hot light bulb.
Yes.
Those ones.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And now you still call her liar, liar, pants on fire because she set her pants on fire.
Obviously.
Anyway.
So, yeah, there are issues with these that basically the filament would burn up, like, really quickly. And his improvement to the light bulb was that he discovered a new kind of filament that lasted a lot longer. There were also rumors that people, like, died trying to find this thing because they had to, like, go out into the wilderness and, like, find, like, natural, like, materials, and those aren't always in, like, safe areas to be. And Edison was the only one who got credit. He never credited any of these other people who helped him.
Why would he
/ maybe died.
Can you imagine, like, a bear just standing on a pile of tungsten and it's like,
yeah.
Come at me. You want a longer lasting filament? Let's fight.
That's exactly how it went down, too.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, like, in addition to the light bulb, he had created, like, the direct current energy system, which we're going to get into later, but he used that direct current energy system to create an electric utility company to compete with existing gas light utility companies. So he founded the Edison Illuminating Company, which eventually became General Electric, which is still around today. He founded that on December 17th, 1880, and patented a system for electricity distribution. This system was first implemented in Lower Manhattan. By 1890, there were more than 100 power plants operating nationwide through General Electric, and all these plants used the direct current system. So, just back to Tesla real quick. While working at the French branch of Edison's company, he had time to do both his paid work and test his own alternating current motor. He was recommended for a job at Edison's company in New York City, which he got. He worked closely with Edison for about a year and spent most of his time there improving Edison's electrical system. The issue became that instead of improving Edison's system the way he was supposed to be, Tesla improved his own system and presented it as an alternative option. So if we want to go to the next slide, so this is just a GIF showing the difference between direct and alternating current. So we're not going to get too sciencey here because that's not my field. I don't quite.
Yeah, don't ask me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just repeating facts that have been told to me. I don't know how electricity works. I don't know how any of this works. So it's
magic in your wall.
Basically, yeah. So with direct current, which is Edison's system, energy flows in only one direction. At the time, it was produced by steam, but now it's the same form of current that's in batteries. So we do still use this current, just not in electrical grids. With DC as the base conveyor, it required a power plant every square mile and very
Holy
thick.
shit.
I know. That's why there were 100 of them. We literally had to have that many. It wasn't because it was so widespread. It was because we literally had to have 100 in order for this to be efficient. So in addition to that, it needed super thick conducting wires, and the voltage can't be changed, which is an issue for a business, a street light, and a house. They're all going to need different voltages, and they couldn't change it. And so with alternating current, which was Tesla's system, the electrical charge periodically changes direction. And again, I don't know how this makes this work, but it does. Don't ask me. So I guess because of that, voltage can be increased or decreased using a transformer. So you can step down the voltage at the destination to actually use it. So this allowed AC to be used in streetlights and small businesses and houses, which was the market that Edison's system had been designed to supply. So it could deliver power further and with thinner wires, which led to lower production cost. And then this was a big sticking point for Edison. It used arc lights, which were essentially early fluorescent lights, and they didn't use a filament. And remember that people had likely died trying to find the perfect filament for Edison's bulbs. So for Tesla to come along and be actually, we don't need that at all, was a big slap in the face to Edison.
Actually, you're stupid.
I mean, basically, yeah. So, did you have a question, Hannah? You sound like you have a question. Okay.
It was a statement, but
that's me too.
Shit, what was it? Oh, have you ever seen those comics? I call them comics. They're, I don't know, from the illustrations from back in the day about how people were so afraid of electrical wires.
Yes, they're hysterical.
Oh my god, they're so funny.
It's
just a guy tangled up in it, with electricity coming out of his eyeballs.
They were terrified of electricity. Which, to be fair,
it's magic in your walls.
Exactly. Well, and it's super fucking dangerous. I totally get why people were afraid of it. It's just hysterical. So Edison did not react to this whole thing with Tesla's new system very well. He hated alternating current, and he especially hated that the system had been perfected by his employee. He viewed it as a cheap version of his own direct current system, and not cheap in a good way, cheap in a Walmart versus a department store kind of a way. You know what I mean? So he viewed it as one that was less efficient and made from inferior parts, which it literally is not, but he was in deep denial. And his system had been used to light the homes of J.P. Morgan and William Vanderbilt, who were the two wealthiest men in the United States. So how could it be the wrong system? He was in that kind of a mindset. And he was just conveniently overlooking all of the advantages that I mentioned earlier. And so when he discovered what Tesla had been up to, he refused to pay him the salary that he had promised. And so, Tesla had been promised $50,000, which I couldn't do on the inflation calculator because it doesn't go back that far. But,
oh my god.
The inflation calculator only goes back to, the early 1900s, and this was in the 1890s, 1880s.
Well, that's close.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could do it. Hang on.
But also just like that much money today is a lot of money.
Yeah, so the inflation calculator goes back to 1913. So in 1913, that would have been $1.3 million. So it would have been probably like, what, 1.5-ish? 1.4-ish?
Yeah, just tack on a couple.
Yeah. Which is,
whatever.
Yeah, and even now, $50,000 is an insane amount of money for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
I know.
You never will.
Like.
And I just lost my job.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, when Tesla asked him about the payment, to be fair, Tesla didn't actually do the job that he was supposed to be doing, right? He was supposed to be improving Edison's system, not creating a whole new one, which, fair. He didn't actually do his job. But when Tesla asked him about the payment, Edison said, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor," and claimed that the offer had been a practical joke.
I'm sorry, what?
What
a
dick.
Yeah, he's such dick.
That is not American humor.
No, it's not.
That is...
You simpleton.
I'm a con man.
Understand American humor.
Yeah, which again, Tesla didn't technically do the job he was supposed to, but Edison could have just said that instead of just being like, "Oh, LOL, I was kidding." So, Tesla was obviously furious.
Technically, he did improve the system.
Not to Edison. To Edison, he created an entirely new system that was inferior. So, to him, he didn't do his job. No, I'm not defending him. I'm just saying, that was his mindset. He was wrong, but that was his mindset.
Okay. Sure.
Because Edison was a trash bag of a human as well. So, yeah, Tesla was furious and he quit his job. He kind of floated around aimlessly for a couple years because that's just, how he is as a person. And at one point, he worked as a ditch digger. He was just kind of doing whatever he could to...
What?
Yeah, Edison's company was basically the only electricity company. Really, the only, major one that he could have worked for. And it's not Tesla had no money. He had no financial backing. It's not like he could just, create shit and then go sell it. That also wasn't Tesla's,
No, I know. I'm just thinking
IP,
of, other jobs he could have done.
No, he did other jobs, just at one point, he was a ditch digger.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So at some point during this, he caught the eye of George Westinghouse, who became his financial backer, and they began building the components for an alternating current electrical system. So George Westinghouse was just basically some random rich dude who had read about Tesla's alternating current somewhere, his system somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know who was publishing it. I don't know how Tesla was promoting his works while he was also digging ditches. I don't know any of that. I just know George Westinghouse learned about it and gave Tesla a shit ton of money. So, this began what is now known as the War of the Currents. So, Edison was furious that Tesla and Westinghouse were creating an electrical system that would compete with his, and he began conducting a smear campaign. So he claimed that alternating current was incredibly dangerous because of the high voltage, which, it's electricity. It's not
it's all dangerous.
Exactly. It's not like his system was safe either. In 1888, an inventor named Harold Brown put on a demonstration where he electrocuted animals with alternating current, and Harold Brown... He didn't like alternating current for his own weird reasons, which I didn't feel the need to get into. But Edison, launched on this, and they both used this as proof that alternating current was dangerous. And so in one instance, they electrocuted a dog, and the thing is, critics said that the dog had been weakened by direct current shocks, which had been applied before the alternating current, and that the dog may have survived if the alternating current had been applied first. Which doesn't really mean, a whole lot, but it basically, to me, just proves, it's all electricity, it's all dangerous, get the fuck over yourselves.
Right.
And so...
It's all black magic. Stop.
Exactly. And so Edison took this idea and ran with it, so he began staging public electrocutions of animals, and he attempted to coin the term Westinghouse to describe dying by electrocution. And this is, we're going to talk about Topsy real quick. So, the thing with Topsy, there's this whole thing where Edison electrocuted an elephant named Topsy in order to prove that alternating current was more dangerous. But this actually occurred in 1903, which was about 10 years after their feud ended. And Edison wasn't even in the electricity industry anymore. So newspapers stated that the execution was carried out by electricians from the Edison Company, which is what created that confusion. Edison no longer owned the company. And then there was also a film of the event, which, like most films of the time, was made by Edison's film company. He had a huge monopoly on the film industry in the early years. So Edison was not there, and he had absolutely nothing to do with it. It's just that weird, like, historical, like, myth that Edison electrocuted an elephant, but he didn't. But he...
Yeah, well, he might as well have.
That's the thing. He did electrocute other people, like, other animals and people, which I will get to, in order to push his agenda, so it's not like he gets off scot-free. I just wanted to, like, set that straight that he did not electrocute Topsy, because while I don't need to be both-sidesing this, I do want to be factually accurate.
Ugh, I guess. Whatever.
I know. So, but I mean, you could say that his actions led to the electrocution of Topsy.
Yes.
Had
he not been a bad boy.
Yeah. So, I said he electrocuted people. So in 1889, New York had legalized execution of prisoners by electrocution. That's a lot of and they specifically chose alternating current as the method of electricity to use for electrocutions. And so this decision was based on testimony from several experts, including Edison, who used this as another demonstration of alternating current being dangerous. So this led to the invention of the electric chair. The first execution by electric chair was carried out in 1890. William Kemmler had been sentenced to death for fatally stabbing his mistress. However, the execution was botched, and it took 2 applications of the current to kill him.
So maybe it's not the best for murdering people.
So this created a publicity nightmare for Westinghouse, for obvious reasons. He fought this by releasing statements against the experiments conducted with alternating current. He pointed out that Brown, that other creator, Harold Brown, who, again, just hated AC for whatever reason, he was heavily biased, and that he was employed by Edison, who was a known opponent to alternating current. He also discussed that the methods used in the experiments and in the deaths were not able to conclusively prove that the current was dangerous to humans. The shocks were applied directly to the spinal column and the brain, which were never accidentally touched and could not cause accidental death. So, like, if somebody had died accidentally, because there had been accidental deaths through electricity, obviously, those usually occurred after somebody had been shocked through the hands, which is a different process than somebody dying via electrocution. So he was just trying to create all these will-actually statements. And then, throughout all of this, Tesla had moved on, and he was experimenting with radio. Like, he was just like, okay, fuck this shit, I'm gonna go play with radio now. And
Tesla was like...
I'm married to a pigeon, so...
Not yet. We're not yet. The pigeon is way later, but... Yeah, he left literally all of the publicity to Westinghouse. He did not give a single fuck. He was just like, I want to go play with radio. Why are you still hung up on the electricity?
He was like, been there, done that. Like, that's old news.
1890.
Basically, yeah. He was like, I'm done with that. Why aren't you? So, the final battle in the War of the Currents was the 1893 World's Fair. So if you can go to the next slide. So, this World's Fair... It's my favorite event ever because it was just such a massive shit show. So, it was held in Chicago. It was also called the Columbian.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
We did the 1904 World's Fair.
I know.
/ Olympics.
Yeah. No,
so, it didn't get much better.
Yeah, this one is... I don't want to say worse.
It's worse.
As a whole, it was worse. So,
yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, Hannah.
Okay, bye. I didn't eat breakfast, and now I'm kind of regretting it because I'm hungry.
I had a piece of custard pie, and that was it. Oh,
you okay, Hannah?
Yes, I have a book that I want to recommend to people, but I need to make sure that it is of the 1893 World's Fair.
Is it Devil in the White City?
No.
Okay, good.
No!
I fucking hate that book. I'm just checking.
Who do you think I am?
I'm just checking.
I have to find out what year this takes place. Keep talking.
Okay, so.
Yes, it's 19... Yes, okay, everyone read Jimmy Corrigan, The Smartest Kid on Earth. It's a comic book. It's
okay.
A graphic novel, a graphic narrative, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But it takes place in different timelines, and one of them is in 1892, right before the World's Fair happened.
Cool. Okay.
And it's very good.
Exciting.
We
Thank you.
are not allowed to recommend Eric Larson books in this house. I hate air cars.
Are you saying... Okay, you said this twice. This house as in, like...
Okay, Shelby said it other time. Shelby said it the first time.
I said it the first time. Shannon said it the second time. I consider this podcast a house.
Yeah.
While we are recording.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't have to make sense.
It's just a phrase. It's fine.
No, I understand. Yeah. I'm just clarifying.
Okay.
We are a household now?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be filing joint
we're...
taxes as a household.
Oh, shit. Okay, I need to call the IRS. Hold
on. It's kind of like, you know how we're going to have our library cottage out in the woods and we're just going to be the witches?
I found our house yesterday.
I find our house, like, every day.
Shannon's like...
Okay, no, because your houses are, like, Iowa.
I know.
Shannon's always like...
Sorry.
Guess what, guys, we're moving to Iowa.
Get out of here.
Two days later, she's like, JK, we're moving to Indiana. And then 3 days later, she's like, JK, Kentucky.
Hang on, I need to shoot to kill a bug. Hang on, there's a bug on my wall. Ugh.
Sorry, Shelby, we're living in Ireland. I found us a house.
Yes.
Well, I want to go.
Ireland.
Well, I'm saying... I thought you were killing a bug.
I am, but I still have my headphones on. Oh my god, die!
Okay, anyway. While Shannon is committing murder.
Sorry.
Yes,
my
I believe it's in... One, it's on a lock, so that's cool. A lock.
I love that.
2, the barn is just like some ancient ruins.
Yes.
Okay, the bug's dead.
3,
I think.
It looks very haunted, and I don't think there's electricity.
I need it.
But
also, I need to go back to Ireland. I've only been there once, and it was a terrible trip.
I've only been there never,
Yeah, me
and
too.
I'm really bummed out about it.
Okay.
Look, it's only because I conned my parents into taking me for my senior spring break.
And then it wasn't worth
high school.
it, so.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
It was terrible for other reasons than Ireland, okay?
I was gonna say.
No, Ireland itself was amazing. And
Yeah.
the food was divine.
There were other contexts that made it suck.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
So,
the
1893 World's Fair. It was held in Chicago. It was also called the Columbian Exposition. So the fair was dedicated to the 400th anniversary of Columbus' discovery of America, quote unquote. But it opened a year late because that's just how things worked back then with this fair. So the fair came to the U.S. during the Panic of 1893. So this was an economic depression, sat at odds with the fair's high price and lavish construction, as well as its insinuation that the U.S. was a leading force in technological development. Everybody was broke as fuck. And then this, beautiful, they called it the White City, which is why that book is called The Devil in the White City. It was this beautiful, marble building.
Well, it was all plaster of Paris, so everything melted when it fucking rained.
Yes, but it looked pretty, which is perfect.
Yes. But
we
it
weren't
was a
quite
lie.
gilded. Well, we were kind of Gilded Agey here, and that the fair was a good representation of that. So, from its opening in May of 1893 to its closing in October of 1893, 25 million Americans visited the fair, and at the time, this constituted a third of the United States population.
Dang.
Yeah, it was really, really popular. This was also the fair that H.H. Holmes was associated with, I guess, which is what The Devil in the White City is about. Half of it is about, the construction of the fair, and the other half is about H.H. Holmes. I just don't like Eric Larson, because he's, the ultimate, history bro, without actually, in my opinion, doing...
Studying.
Yeah, it's just, I hate his books and...
Researching.
Yeah, it's just not good. Also, his writing is not my favorite thing, but that's a separate issue. So, the organizers wanted this to be the first World's Fair lit by electricity, and they solicited bids from several companies. Because the fair was meant to put Chicago on the international stage, because before that it wasn't. So General Electric was merging with another company, and this was Edison's company. They had to put in extremely high bids in order to cover the cost of that merger, but the directors of the fair felt that the bids were insultingly high, and that left them feeling really misled. So they basically just sidestepped GE completely, and they eventually decided on a much smaller firm, Southside Machine and Metalworks. And that firm went to Westinghouse for assistance in lighting the fair, as it required 92,000 incandescent lights. And so seeing a fantastic opportunity... What, Hannah?
Quite a few.
Yeah. To be fair, it was a huge fair. It was massive.
I mean, yeah.
And they lit up everything. So seeing
I just don't see how no one was like, this might not be the best idea.
Well, the actual lighting of it was fine. Like, nothing, exploded or anything.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nothing,
no one died.
Nothing
it went better
fire.
than Hannah's Christmas lights endeavor?
Yes. Nothing caught fire. It was, overall, it was fine.
Burned my house down yet.
Yet being the operative word.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Whatever.
seeing a fantastic opportunity to promote alternating current, Westinghouse immediately accepted, and Tesla reluctantly set aside his work with radio and went to Chicago to oversee the installation. So the
I just imagine him, putting down a little radio that he's tinkering with a tiny screwdriver, and he's like, okay.
I mean, that's basically what happened. He had moved on so far. He was just like, why do I have to do this again? We already did this. I'm done.
I imagine him living in, not like a lighthouse, but, more like an observatory, but without a telescope.
Yeah.
Just, an empty, big, round room.
I mean...
with one desk and a radio and a tiny screwdriver.
He kind of did, so you're not far off.
I'm just...
Yeah. So, yeah, the organization of the fair was just... It was such a shit show. This entire fair. I might do an episode just on this fair, because it was such a dumpster fire. So, the lighting of the fair, the end result was good, but... The plans drawn up, as I said, it called for 92,622 lamps, and the low bid meant that they had to use cheap ones. So they basically had to have a team of workers, working around the clock in order to keep everything lit, because the bulbs would still go out, because there were 92,000 of them. But, it all worked in the end. It was just a lot of work to keep it functioning. So... When President Grover Cleveland first flipped the switch to light up the fair, the crowd their minds were just completely blown. Some people fainted, and other people were, weeping with joy. Because, they'd never seen something like this on any kind of a scale. This was also...
Do we even have anything that, would make us do that?
I don't think so.
I think maybe if aliens... Although we're, totally tuned out to anything, though, so...
Yeah.
Never mind.
And so, this fair was also the debut of the Ferris wheel, which they commissioned the Ferris wheel because the previous World's Fair, right before this, had been the one in Paris that introduced the Eiffel Tower, and the people who were in charge of the fair were we need to do something that's as iconic as the Eiffel Tower, which I don't think...
Well, they had a big triangle,
not gonna happen.
So we're gonna make a big circle.
Yeah, basically. But, the Ferris wheel was also lit up, so not only do you have a Ferris wheel, you also have a lit up Ferris wheel, which, again, crazy for somebody in 1893 who's never seen anything like this.
I guess.
Yeah. It was a simpler time.
They still used chamber pots.
Exactly.
I mean,
and now we're just okay, but it's just
no longer do you have to poop in the dark under your bed.
Yeah. So, shortly after the fair, Edison lost control of his company because they had been merging. The company then decided to pursue alternating current, while Edison left the electricity business entirely and moved on to other things.
In shame, I hope.
Yeah. And so just as a side note, this is going to be more Chicago specific. So the Field Museum in Chicago is the Natural History Museum here. It was built after the fair specifically to hold and display exhibits from the fair, afterwards, that if people had missed it, they could go and see it again. They still have all of their stuff from the fair in storage there. And when I was in my sophomore year of college, when I was writing my second Tesla paper, I conned my aunt into taking me up here to go to that exhibit. Because they had it as a special exhibit during our spring break, and I was like, this is perfect, I get to go see it. And it was really interesting because I got to see all these exhibits from the actual fair. They had one thing in the entire exhibit about how this was the first fair lit by electricity. And it made me really mad because I thought that was a bigger deal. And plus, the only thing it really had was there was a piece of, equipment, basically. And there's a plaque that said, we don't know what this is. We think it was to do, it had to do with the electricity. If you know what it is, please tell us. And that was it. There was nothing. And I was like, are you kidding me?
That's really helpful.
Yeah, so it's still a cool exhibit, and, like, if they ever put it out again, obviously I'm gonna go if I'm here, but I'm also just like, okay, but this was, like, not helpful to me at all. But it's fine. So, after I labeled this post-war Tesla because, like, the war of the currents has officially ended. So,
Post-war Tesla.
So this fair was Tesla's, like, big break. So after this, Tesla was able to achieve a lot of his plans that he actually, like, cared about. Because, like, he did not care about electricity anymore at this point. At least not alternating current. But he did use this as a jumping off point to do other things. So after this, Tesla was able to turn Niagara Falls into a hydroelectric power station, which was, I think he considered that, like, his crowning achievement. Which, if you go to Niagara Falls, there's a Nikola Tesla statue there. Just throwing it out there. So he did that along with several other, like, just insanely important inventions, such as improvements to radio, the creation of wireless energy transmission, and several other new technologies, including the Tesla coil, which the Tesla coil is basically like a circuit. And if you go to the Museum of Science and Industry here in Chicago, I'm just being an ad for Chicago right now. If you go into the Museum of Science and Industry, which is a fucking awesome museum, they have a giant Tesla coil on the ceiling, and it goes off every, like, 15 minutes. And it sounds terrible. It sounds like you're about to die, like, from an alien invasion, but it is so fucking cool. He also
We have a smaller version at the St. Louis Science Museum, don't we?
Yeah,
at the Science Center.
Lots of science museums have them.
A lot of places do.
They're so loud, though.
They're so loud. And so the one at the MSI, like, it's on the ceiling, and it is gigantic. So it's, you sound like you're being invaded by aliens. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tesla also took the first X-ray photographs, which all credit for this has gone to Wilhelm Röntgen, who received a Nobel Prize for the discovery of X-rays in 1901, but, like, he fucking didn't discover X-rays. Tesla did. Tesla held a patent for a wireless remote control, which he demonstrated with a remote control boat, which, like, can you imagine in, like, 1895-ish, a person controlling a wireless radio boat? Like, that is crazy. And, like, he essentially invented robotics. So, like, the rest of this, I don't really have, like, dates for it, so it's just kind of an amalgam of stuff that he did. He built a mad scientist lab in Colorado Springs, which at one point knocked out the entire city's electrical grid. So if you go to the next slide, that's what this picture is. No, I haven't. I know.
Nikola Tesla is literally played by David Bowie.
I know.
Such a cool movie.
I just haven't seen it.
It's about magic and science.
I know. So what he wanted to do at this mad scientist lab was he wanted to create a wireless energy system. Sorry, I'm tired. Where energy would just be beamed everywhere for free. So, like, you know, like, we have wireless phone chargers where you, like, put your phone on a pad and it charges up your phone. So, like...
Yeah, I don't understand that still, that technology.
I don't either. I don't get it.
Little brain.
All of this is magic to me. I don't know how any of this works. So, like, imagine that all of your devices, everything in your home, all the electricity, your computer, internet, like, everything is powered by giant wireless phone chargers, like, hovering in the sky. But instead of having to touch it, it just beams it down. Like, that is what Tesla wanted to do.
I don't like that.
Well, the thing is, like...
Well, honestly, it's such a cool idea because then people wouldn't be, like...
You wouldn't have to pay for electricity.
Yeah, and, like, places that wouldn't normally have electricity would have it for free and not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Which... Like, we don't know if he actually succeeded in this, because he never wrote anything down unless it was for a patent application, and he never applied for a patent on this. But even if he did...
He did in The Prestige.
Well, he never did in real life.
I'm just letting you know it happened in that movie.
So even if he did do that, though, he never got any financial backers, because there's no, like, financial profit from this plan. So nobody was going to fund it. Which is why we now have...
it's a cool idea, it's just, it scares me.
Yeah.
Because that's some real voodoo black magic.
Yeah.
Not voodoo, that's an actual thing.
Yeah. He created a lot of inventions like that. So yeah, at one point he went back to New York and tried to build a massive antenna called Wardenclyffe Tower, which would utilize the sun's energy and would create large-scale wireless energy transmission. He got really fixated on the wireless energy thing for a while, but he ran out of money and had to abandon the project in 1905. And this is when he started going actually cuckoo, because this caused like another nervous breakdown, and he just never fucking recovered from it. In 1906, he demonstrated a bladeless turbine, which for the time was like another like, you know, earth-shattering invention. At the time World War I was breaking out, he attempted to sue Guglielmo Marconi for infringing on his patents. So he had several radio patents to his name, but Marconi used his family connections and backing from Edison and Andrew Carnegie to basically get all of the credit for radio transmissions, even going so far as to get Tesla's patents revoked. So, what? Yeah, oh my God. Marconi did not invent radio. Tesla did. Which, there is an episode, this is completely off the rails for me, there's an episode of Jimmy Neutron where, like, Edison shows up, and Jimmy Neutron is fucking like, Edison invented radio. Like, no the fuck he didn't. And Jimmy Neutron would know better. So that is a big research fail on the writers of Jimmy Neutron. Just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Do you really, Shannon?
Okay,
do you
I'm
really
just
think
saying.
The writers of Jimmy Neutron looked into anything further than a cursory Google search?
I'm just saying.
If that.
I'm just saying. So, Tesla didn't...
Look, if you're gonna have a show about a boy science genius...
Exactly! Like,
you're gonna have to do some basic research.
Yeah, he would know that.
If Bob's Burgers can do it, so can Jimmy Neutron.
So, yeah, Tesla didn't really, like, do a whole lot else with his life besides racking up hotel bills and ignoring them until 1934. So, like, throughout the early 1900s, he was basically living off of a monthly payment from the Westinghouse Company. We don't officially know what it was for. Some people think they gave it to him, like, as a consulting fee because he would accept charity. I think it for sure was charity, and the board of the company didn't want him to, like, die completely destitute, which he still did because he kept racking up hotel bills. And, yeah, he was not good with money. So he would live in hotels until they tried to make him pay, and then he would go somewhere else. And it was during this time that he fell in love with a pigeon. Yeah. His quote is, "I loved that pigeon as a man loves a woman, and she loved me. As long as I had her, there was a purpose to my life." And he spent, I know, and he spent over $2,000 to care for her. And he had no money. And it was the 1900s. Like, actual, like, 1900s. Like, $2,000 is an insane amount of money to care for a motherfucking pigeon.
Do we know the pigeon's name?
No, I don't think he ever named her.
What?
Then you didn't truly love her.
Well, maybe he didn't. He didn't write it down because he didn't write down jack shit.
That's true.
You know?
What? How? Okay.
Well, okay, so, like,
No.
he did write a couple books, but they were about, like, his life.
No, I'm
and
upset about the pigeon not being named.
I know, yeah. I haven't seen anything. That doesn't mean that that name does not exist. I haven't seen anything about the name of the pigeon. So, yeah. Moving on from that was really all I had about the pigeon, because that's really all that there is. Like, I don't know how to deconstruct that any further, other than he was in love with the pigeon. And, although, also, I will say, this was the only other creature he actually felt love for, ever, that he ever admitted to loving, which I find just terrifying for him as a person. So, beginning in 1931, a young sci-fi writer named Kenneth Swayze, who has somehow managed to befriend Tesla, which, like, Tesla was, like, old at this point, and he was old and crotchety and fucking weird, so I don't know how in the world this guy became friends with him. He organized a yearly celebration of Tesla's birthday, and these events involved press interviews. So it's like this yearly thing in the 30s that people would just go, like, hang out with Tesla on his birthday, and then there'd be newspaper articles about it the next day. I don't know, the 30s were weird. So at the 1934 event, Tesla claimed to have created a death ray, which he wanted to use to end warfare. And so this claim was printed in a New York Times article titled, "Tesla at 78 bears new death beam." The article outlined Tesla's plan to build a ray gun that, quote, "will send concentrated beams of particles through the free air of such tremendous energy that they will bring down a fleet of 10,000 enemy airplanes at a distance of 250 miles, end quote.
Damn.
That's terrifying.
He didn't build a death ray. He was just bluffing because he felt like it, basically.
Was he bluffing or just, like, joking?
I don't think he was the kind... That's the thing. He's just such a weird person that, like, we don't actually know why he said this.
It was one of those American,
Yeah, it was his American
jokes.
Humor. Yeah.
That American humor, you know?
Yeah. We don't know. Because
what do Americans like? Guns.
Yeah.
Oh, you make a joke about one. I'm gonna kill everyone with my death ray.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? LOL,
Yeah.
pay me.
Although, this may have been one of those times where he did have a schematic in his head and he never wrote it down. Because he did that for most of his inventions. Because unless, like, literally, I think I already said this, but unless he was filing for a patent, he didn't write it down. And he didn't really believe in patents or, like, inventing for money, which is why he had no money.
Dude.
He just...
No offense.
I know. He truly was inventing, like, just for the sake of it, which, like, is noble, I think, but at the same time, it's like, okay, but bud, you need to be able to eat, so, like, maybe do some shit with your life. So, Tesla died on January 7th, 1943, alone in his hotel room. 2 days later, the FBI seized his property to see if he'd actually built a death ray, and he hadn't. And you can actually look. The FBI, a lot of their files are online. Their files from this have mostly been declassified. There's been stuff that's been redacted, but I looked through them for a previous paper, and so, like, you can go look at his FBI file. There's nothing, like, crazy in there other than, like, Tesla as an entity is just crazy. So, like, but there's nothing, like, beyond what we know of him that's, like, earth-shattering or anything. And so, in total, Tesla had attained more than 300 patents, or around 300 patents worldwide, which, considering all the stuff he did actually invent, is fairly low. But again, he didn't believe in patents because he thought everybody should have access to everything all the time. So now, I just have other notes from Wikipedia that I thought were worth mentioning, but that I couldn't fit into, like, a timeline.
Can I say something really quick about what I just read about the pigeon, which makes me so fucking sad?
Yes.
Oh, no.
The pigeon died in his arms.
Oh, I'm sure.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's it.
So sad.
So, these are just random facts that I thought were worth mentioning. Tesla was 6'2", and he weighed 142 pounds from 1888 to 1926. I don't know how we know that. We just do.
Okay, sometimes there's weird weight stuff in Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Like, when one of those witches I looked up, it had her weight in it for some reason.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
one,
got
how do
it.
you measure that back then? And two, why?
Yeah.
Like,
I
why
don't
do
know
you
why
care
we
how much
needed
she
to know
weighed?
that, but we did.
Okay.
Yeah, he was also described as having remarkably big thumbs, which again, I don't know. I don't understand. He had...
The better to
something
twiddle
that
his
we care
mustache
about?
with.
Yeah, I don't know. His Wikipedia... These are all from Wikipedia, too. Like, his Wikipedia entry is a ride. So, he had an eidetic memory and he spoke 8 languages. He was kind of misogynistic later in life. Like, he never...
Because his bird girlfriend died. And he never recovered.
I know. So he never married, explaining that his chastity was helpful to his scientific abilities. He may have died a virgin, but we have no way of knowing that. He once said earlier on in his life that he felt he could never be worthy enough for a woman because he considered women superior in every way. But later on, he felt that women were trying to outdo men and make themselves more dominant. This was especially in the 20s and 30s because there was that big cultural shift for women to become a little bit more independent, and I mean, this was the flapper era, right? So this, quote, new woman was met with much indignation from Tesla, who felt that women were losing their femininity by trying to be in power. But then also in 1926, he said that women should become the dominant sex in the future. Like, he was nuts, I don't know.
He's all over the place.
Yeah.
He don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know. So there is speculation that he was asexual or gay, which, again, it's speculation. We have no way of knowing. We haven't found any document.
Isaac Newton was gay, and he died a virgin.
Yeah. We haven't found any, like, writings or letters or anything that would indicate one way or another.
Well, because apparently he didn't know how to write.
Yeah, apparently. So, yeah, he was very, like, asocial, and he preferred to be working, but he had, like, a shit ton of friends, including Mark Twain. Like, that last picture, Mark Twain took that picture. Like, he was really good friends with Mark Twain, along with a bunch of other famous shits. But I'm just like, how did he do that when he didn't talk to people? And he is apparently, like, a delight to be around, even though he was just so fucking weird. This man is a contradictory person.
I got some weird friends, and they're a delight to be around because they just say the weirdest things, and I'm just like, you're hilarious.
Can I say something? We are the weird friends.
No, we for sure are. But, like, he also just...
Are we?
Yes.
I am. I'm the weird friend. But, like, I think it's that with the combination of he didn't want to be around humans, where I'm just like, how did anyone become friends with you? It just confuses me.
You know who he reminds me of? And I know this is a fictional character,
That's
but
fine.
if you've seen oh my god, what are those movies called? The not the Harry Potter ones, the other ones. The Fantastic Beasts movies. Yeah. He's basically just Newt Scamander. He just wants to do his science and everyone else can fuck off.
But, Hannah, I know you've never met my sister, but my sister is Newt Scamander.
She is. Yeah, okay. She is.
Literally a genius. Like, the whole scene in the first movie where he was, like, doing the mating thing, I was like, that's my sister. Mm-hmm. Like, why? So...
Yeah.
I've seen her do this in a field.
With a bison.
With a bison.
No, I haven't, because that's dangerous and they will actually, like...
They will charge.
I've almost been
You will be impaled by a bison. Don't do that. But no, like, my sister is 1,000% she is Newt Scamander.
Okay. So...
Anyway.
Let's move on. So when Edison died in 1931, Tesla contributed the only negative comment to the obituary that was published in the New York Times. And it was buried. They still published it, but they put it deep, deep down, like within coverage of Edison's life. And so this is the quote. He had no hobby, cared for no sort of amusement of any kind, and lived in utter disregard of the most elementary rules of hygiene. His method was inefficient to the extreme, for an immense ground had to be covered to get anything at all unless blind chance intervened, and, at first, I was almost a sorry witness of his doings, knowing that just a little theory and calculation would have saved him 90% of the labor. But he had a veritable contempt for book learning and mathematical knowledge, trusting himself entirely to his inventor's instinct and practical American sense. This man held a grudge for nearly 40 years. And I respect that so much.
I was waiting for there to be a line that says, "And that bitch owes me $50,000."
And, like, after the World's Fair, they, like, didn't interact at all. So he was, like, holding this grudge, which I think is just fantastic.
I bet he whispered it to his pigeon.
Probably.
My darling, I wish I could feed you more bird pellets, but...
Edison never gave me
Edison never paid
his payment.
Can you hear my cat back there?
Not really, no.
Good.
Okay.
I mean, my microphone's picking it up, so you're gonna figure it out.
I probably will. Okay, so just some more fun facts. Well, this one's not fun. He was openly disgusted with overweight people. Yeah. This one just... He didn't believe in the existence of electrons.
Okay, bro.
So there was, like, this 19th century concept of this, like, all-pervasive ether that transmitted electrical energy, and that's what he believed. He was... I don't know. He was also critical... Excuse me.
Yuki!
He was also critical of Einstein's theory of relativity, which I don't understand enough to... I mean, I think he was wrong in that criticism. I don't know.
He was.
Yeah.
That one at least.
Yeah.
But okay.
So
I was just thinking about their jobs, and it would be so funny. Ditch digger versus patent clerk. Fight!
Yeah. So he was widely considered to be a humanist, although he, like many of the time, was a proponent of eugenics. And so, like, we talked about eugenics before, but I want to actually, like...
Okay, but everyone in the 20s was, like, real obsessed with eugenics.
I want to actually, like, define it, because we've never actually said what eugenics is. So, it's a set of beliefs and practices that aim to improve the genetic quality of a human population, historically by excluding people and groups judged to be inferior or promoting those judged to be superior. So specifically, he favored the imposed selective breeding version, because apparently there's different versions, which I think means he favored forced sterilization of those who were quote-unquote unworthy of reproducing, and he believed that human pity had interfered with the ruthless workings of nature. So there's that.
Wait. Okay. Never mind.
Okay. He was big into eugenics. Well, again, like you said, like everybody in the 20s was.
You know who else was big into eugenics and also a Nazi? Lindbergh.
Oh, yeah. Charles Lindbergh was a garbage person.
He has 5 Nazi children. Yeah. Well, they're not Nazis, but like 5 German children from 5 different German women.
Yeah, he was...
Or something like that.
I don't know. He was not a good person, though. So, just a few more fun facts, and then we're going to rant about Elon Musk. Tesla had become a naturalized citizen on July 30th, 1891, at the age of 35. He's like the source of the mad scientist archetype. And then finally, there is a nonprofit called the Tesla Science Center at Wardenclyffe, which this was kind of started by the guy who created the oatmeal, because he's even more obsessed with Tesla than I am.
Oh, he's very
so obsessed.
He's so obsessed. So, like, through crowdfunding, they were able to purchase the land where Wardenclyffe once stood and got the site listed as a National Register of Historic Places. So, like, the tower is gone. Like, it's called Wardenclyffe Tower because there was a tower. That's gone. But there's still an underground laboratory that was Tesla's, and it's the last one. There are no other Tesla labs floating around out there anymore. And so the foundation is working to transform this site into a museum and an education center. And Elon Musk was goaded into donating $1 million towards funding the museum. And this is where we're going to rant about Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is the founder of Tesla Incorporated, which was incorporated on July 1st, 2003. And the goal is to create mass market electric vehicles. So my issue with Elon Musk, beyond just him being a dumpster fire of a person, is that he is taking Tesla's name and using it in a way that Tesla would be appalled. He would be appalled. Thank you. That is the word I wanted. Thank you. So Tesla, as I've said earlier, he didn't believe in inventing for money. He believed in inventing for the sake of it and for the sake of furthering humanity.
And Elon Musk is such a capitalist pig.
Oh my god, he's disgusting. Such a capitalist pig. Yep. Ugh, yeah. So, like, Tesla would be spinning in his grave, like, he was cremated, so he doesn't have a grave. But if he had one, he would be spinning in it if he knew that his name was on a company like this, because he would want these cars to be given away for free. He just would. That was just how he was. But then, like, the company is worth $206 billion, and they probably don't pay taxes. There have also been numerous controversies and lawsuits, including issues with worker and safety rights, which Tesla had, like, an issue with Edison as an employer, so Tesla obviously would not approve of this. They've had a lot of issues with safety hazards, negligence, whistleblower retaliation, accounting issues, and SEC charges, and now misinformation regarding the pandemic coming from Elon Musk specifically.
Seriously.
So, long story short, Tesla Inc. should not be called that, and they are taking his name in vain, and it pisses me off. So, the last thing I have, there is a movie about the current war. It is called The Current War. I haven't seen it, because even from the trailer, I could tell that it was wildly inaccurate. And it got a 31% on Rotten Tomatoes. So there's that. So I looked at the plot summary of this movie on Wikipedia. And it focuses on motherfucking Westinghouse and not on Tesla. So it says, like, in the movie, Westinghouse is in a feud with Edison over alternating current. And he was trying to prove that AC was better before he even met Tesla. And that they were competing to build different systems before Tesla was involved. Westinghouse didn't even know about alternating current until he read about Tesla's inventions. And he was not in a feud with Edison before he met Tesla. That just was not a thing. At least not in this context.
So, basically, the movie is taking all the credit away from Tesla.
Yes. It also has Westinghouse...
Is that a kitty meow?
Yes, that's my cat. She's being a freak right now.
It also has Westinghouse, like, revealing Edison's involvement in the electric chair, but, like, that wasn't a secret. Like, Edison was very like, yes, I helped create the electric chair. He wasn't keeping that hidden.
Let's fry some bitches!
Yeah. And they also have that occurring before Tesla builds an AC motor. Which, like, how would they even be able to do that if they don't have the motherfucking motor? Anyway, this movie...
Oh, you know.
So basically, according to Shannon, do not watch this movie. It is inaccurate.
No, it's a terrible movie. I haven't seen it, but according to the internet, it's terrible. And according to, like, my own historical knowledge, it's terrible. So... Also, they had Benedict Cumberbatch playing Edison and not Tesla. Like, what the fuck?
What?
Like, who the fuck made that decision? Like,
he looks like Tesla.
Exactly.
Edison was just like a fat garbage man. Not like a person who collects trash, just like a man made of garbage.
Yes. So this movie was just like a perfect encapsulation of Tesla's like actual life. His works were credited to other people constantly, and he was always shifted out of focus. And that's what this movie does, and it pisses me off. And that is all that I have on Nikola Tesla.
And anyway, the end.
Yeah. I mean, there was more I could have gone into with, like, pop culture and stuff, but I didn't, because we were already at, I think my notes ended up being 11 pages. Yeah, they're 11 pages, so, like, we went through enough. But yeah, so that was Nikola Tesla, my favorite historical topic ever. Yeah, I'm glad that I was able to share my Tesla obsession with the world.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
The world needed
I just think
Shannon.
He's just an interesting human.
What did he name his child?
Huh?
Not Tesla. Not
Elon
Tesla.
Musk.
Elon Musk. Hang on. I don't even remember.
It was like...
It's like how you pronounce it has nothing to do with how it's spelled.
It's an X, that AE symbol that I can't remember the name of. A-XII.
Okay,
I literally don't know how to pronounce it.
But how did they say it was pronounced?
Just X.
Because they were like, it's...
No,
they
it's...
had it like...
X-12 is this child's name.
No, he had a name, though, like... Whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about, because that's what the internet tells me is his name.
I know, there was it was pronounced differently, though. It, like, had a pronunciation.
I have no idea.
I want to say it was like Nova or something.
Yeah, it was something like that. Something space sounding.
He literally says this child's name is pronounced X-A12. That is what he said his name is pronounced as.
Alright, well, he's a dumbass.
Yes. I hate him. So.
But, I don't know. They, went back and forth on how to pronounce it many times.
And he has other children, too, that have, like, normal children names. It's very upsetting. Can you imagine? What's your little brother's name? I don't even.
Yeah, I don't know what my little brother's name is. Yeah.
XIIT.
Yeah.
500. He's actually a cyborg, so, you know.
Yeah. Okay. I need to go eat something, and I'm tired and need to take a nap. So,
Okay.
As always, we don't have an ending.
Oh, shit. We needed to do that, guys.
Okay, you say that. We don't have any time. Like, this is the only time that we are ever together. So.
I know. Everyone think about it. Everyone brainstorm this week.
Okay.
That's your homework. Also, I would like to say that I finished the leg of the sock, and I am now onto the foot.
Yay.
Of the
He
sock.
doesn't do homework.
So.
Okay, well, right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Triad. Our music is by Scott Buckley. Our audio is recorded by our sound engineers, Craig Bott and Audrey Credo.
If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr as The Triad Podcast. Our website is thetriadpodcast.wordpress.com. There, you can find information about our latest episode, including the show notes and sources.
We're also on Patreon as The Triad. Currently, all Patreon funds will go towards the cost of hosting the show. Each tier has its own rewards, but every patron receives our undying gratitude. Do you have comments, questions, or stories? Email us at thetriadpod@gmail.com. And thank you again for listening to The Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive.